Right, full thoughts on the Champions League final. Want to start with PSG because I feel like Arsenal are maybe a wee bit more of like the deeper discussion about the game as a whole, football, where it's headed and where it's been. But PSG, back-to-back Champions League winners, not to be sniffed at all. Luis Enrique's third Champions League, two with PSG and one with that Barcelona side with Messi, Suarez and Neymar. Great side, by the way. I was watching the Ronaldinho final episode of the Ronaldinho documentary last night, and it's the game where Flamengo play Santos, and Neymar is absolutely incredible. I mean, some of the stuff he's doing in that game, Ronaldinho as well, of course, but Neymar, you're just like, nobody does that shit anymore, man. No one has any freedom to do those skills and everything anymore. And I guess that's maybe going to be a little bit the point of this video, certainly about the Arsenal point of view. And, Enrique tries to allow his PSG team to do that, but they couldn't really do that. And they got frustrated early on in the game. And they only really open up when they get the equaliser and the game becomes a little bit more frantic and players are tired. But they had to work out on the pitch. They did have to work out on the pitch. I thought they just did like a lot of crosses into the box that Arsenal were happy just to head it away, and there wasn't a lot of space for them to do anything there. But it's a hell of a team they've built there, and it'll be interesting to see what Enrique wants to do, because just all that talk about the French league and we know about it, and they kind of can seamlessly kind of like cruise through there. But I think he'll be looking to try and match that Real Madrid side's Champions League run and go three back to back if possible. I'm sure they'll change a couple players here and there. A couple of guys like Madrid might try and snap a couple of guys up, or Barca, and then PSG might try and pull whoever they think is the kind of next quality player in there. There's always going to be a little bit of change, and I think change is good. I think Enrique's kind of hinted at that like there's always another evolution, a new way of thinking. But what a manager, what a job he's done there, what a team he's built, and PSG from that superstar, Air Jordan type brand to now really being a team and a man that has control of the club. He has control of who comes in, he has control of what's done, he has control of the training, and he completely sets the tone, and he's a top manager for me. Absolutely fantastic. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head if there was anyone that really like stood out for me in the PSG team, because I don't think there was. It was hard for them to stand out in that game, but they come through it. They come through it, and fair play to them, and huge achievement, absolutely incredible. And I said last year, did the podcast at the end of the season with Matthew and Greg, and I was like, are they the future of the kind of elite European football? And this is where we can get into the discussion about Arsenal, because it felt in a way, and I think sometimes these games can be bigged up too much like that. You can maybe put the storyline to be too big, but it felt as if Arsenal came out on top, a lot of teams might see that way as the route to success. And if PSG came out on top, a lot of teams might see, nah, actually, it's going to be the free-flowing way. It kind of, football feels like we don't know where we're heading right now, and new ideas are being innovated and new coaches are coming in. And if we just stick on Arsenal with how Arteta's built his team, I want to start off by saying that how he's built it and how he's gone about it and the level that he's got his team to, and on the more defensive side of things, and especially in that final, I thought the game plan was absolutely spot on. I thought they've nullified PSG like no one has in the last 2 years in Europe, and it's a final, and you play to your strength, and that's their big strength, and credit to them, and they deserve that credit. Absolutely. I thought it was absolutely spot on, and as I said there, PSG had no space to really run into. Was it entertaining as the neutral fan, as someone that does not support Arsenal, that does not support PSG, that wants to sit there and watch a game of football? And the answer, sorry Arsenal fans, is no. You won't care, you shouldn't care, because you've won the Premier League and you're that close to winning a Champions League and getting that double in there, and that's absolutely fine. Of course you shouldn't at the end of the day. You don't need to feel as if your team has to play this style of football to appease other fans as long as you're winning. And the big job this season from Mikel Arteta was to win and was to get over the line and was to deliver one of those two, and he almost delivered both. And again, respect and credit, because it's no easy job to get to the team to perform into the levels that he's got them to perform to. But I'm reading the history of football tactics, and throughout the whole thing, where I'm reading right now, I'm maybe up to about like the 30s and 40s. But before that, and even there's always the debate of style versus winning, attack versus defensive styles. And it flips back and forth between what is a bit more of a dominant style and what is a more successful style. And it's really interesting, when they introduce leagues and everything, and points start to become, there's a big backlash because their whole point of the game in England and Scotland is that it should be about entertainment and people really going in to enjoy to watch and players going to enjoy to play, and winning and having league tables and standing puts more of an emphasis on points, like Arteta's done this season. At the end of the day, he's got to win, right? His job, if he just goes out there and plays this amazing open football, which we see loads of teams do, and you end up getting spanked all the time, you're going to fall down the league and you're going to get sacked, right? And you're not going to get to the top level. Now, we know you can be at the top level by playing a front foot style of football. Of course you can. But he's looked at it and gone, this is my way of going about it. So there's always that endless debate. But it's not entertaining. And I think it is good that PSG win it. And it will be interesting to see how Arteta approaches everything with Arsenal moving into next season. Now that I think the monkey's off the back, the pressure's off the back. He's won the Prem, right? And he did what he did in the Champions League. So pressure's off the back. So will it change a little bit? I don't think it will. The attack needs to, yes, be made stronger. Jamie Carragher said that a lot on Sky Sports News, and that's been the talk. And I said that kind of the last year. So he doesn't back them in that way. And I think that's why he's gone for what he's gone for. And look, Saka's great. Gyökeres has been a decent signing. Havertz is obviously a good player. Martinelli is a good player. But yeah, you don't feel it's that kind of PSG front three, Man City attack, Liverpool of Salah, Mane and Firmino, the Barca team, like I said, of Messi, Neymar and Suarez, obviously. Like, you don't feel it has that superstar power to kind of let go for the attack and let the attackers be the main kind of focal point of view and how you play. So I get it. But just an interesting one. I don't know. It's been a big thing all season, hasn't it? It's been a big thing all season, and I think the league will look to clamp down a little bit on some things with the long throws, and Arsenal even get in the final where Saka has the corner and the ref blows the whistle, and I think it's kind of saying to them, like, you've been wasting time, you're taking ages to take the corner, I'm blowing the whistle for half time. And it's good to see that. I think referees start doing stuff like that. You take out the kind of slow pace, time wasting type stuff that just completely interrupts the flow of the game. And look, we've all done it when we've played or we've coached or whatever it is. There's parts of the game where you do that. You slow it down, you take the rhythm out, the other team are on top of you, you've maybe got a lead and you throw the ball away or you do something, you take your time. Like, yeah, that's it's absolutely little dark art parts of the game. But when the main part of the game is becoming that, in which it was on Saturday in the final, it just isn't entertaining to watch. And the Premier League, you need entertainment at the end of the day. You do need entertainment. And again, I want to finish it off, Arsenal fans, by saying you shouldn't have to feel as if you have to entertain anyone. You've won. But what I'm saying is that from a neutral point of view, it's not great to watch. And that's fine. And I'm a Liverpool fan with Liverpool top sitting up here. And I will say that when we beat Tottenham in the Champions League final, it probably wasn't the most interesting game. But as I said in my short little clip on Instagram and TikTok, when you're emotionally invested in the game, you watch it differently than what the neutral is, because you're so emotionally invested. Every single kick of the ball is lived, right? Whereas when you're a neutral, I'm sat with other people, you're having a chat. The game needs to pull me into it. You know what I mean? The game needs to pull me into it, and it didn't on Saturday. It didn't on Saturday until PSG equalised, and there's a little 10 minutes where it's open, and then another thing as well, by the way. We can do away with extra time. Come on. Especially now with the amount of games that they're playing, these players are playing, and they're all off to the World Cup there. We don't need those 30 minutes. Teams just kind of get through it. Folk are going down with cramp. They're playing through for penalties. Let's just do 90 and go straight to pens, right? Let's just do 90 and go straight to pens. We can botch off extra time. It had its place, but it doesn't do any good now. They play too many games. So I think we should get rid of that. But yes, that is that on the whole kind of PSG Arsenal front. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments. As always, like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the video and check everything out. Second piece I wanted to dive into will obviously be Arne Slot being sacked. I did go on to TikTok live on Saturday when I heard the news and had a good conversation with a few people. It's on my TikTok, it's on the YouTube channel, the full thing, if you want to go and watch me having that discourse with people on there. I really enjoyed it, actually. But just to kind of sit down and give my own deeper thoughts on it, it's looking like Iraola's coming in, but let's stick with Arne Slot. I feel now, a few days removed from it, I still feel like it's the right call. I don't think that every single thing that has gone wrong this season is Arne Slot's fault. There's been a lot that's gone on. There's been a lot of mitigating factors, and I think how we recruited wasn't quite as cleverly, and we kind of acted quite big, ego-ish wise, and I want to clarify that by saying that I really liked every single signing that we made at the time. I was absolutely buzzing with the summer. It's that kind of like really galactical vibe type summer with Wirtz and Isak coming in, and I've never seen Liverpool do that, so it was cool and it was interesting. But we also all know that when does that work? Like, when does it work, you know? I just don't know when it does work. But we didn't go like full on with it. It's not like we've got Real Madrid like Figo, Beckham, Carlos, like Ronaldo, like all those guys, right? It's not like it's that big, but we went that way about it. So I don't know how much say he has in that. You know, there's talk about Liverpool. They just want like the head coach, and that was a big reason for Alonso. He wants like a lot of kind of control over the team, which, by the way, I would like to sit here and ask you guys, how many times when clubs do this whole head coach thing, how often does that work in being like the best? How often does that work in like winning a league or winning a Champions League? If we just go through Luis Enrique, I just said that he has control. He has control over PSG. He's not head coach, he's the manager. Mikel Arteta has control. He's not the head coach, he's the manager. Pep Guardiola, as we know, had control. He is the manager. Jurgen Klopp, we know, had control. He is the manager. Sir Alex Ferguson, control, manager. Mourinho, control, manager. Conte, even at Chelsea, when he comes in and wins it, wants control, manager. Real Madrid, it's maybe a little bit different. The players kind of run the show, but Ancelotti, obviously, with his Real Madrid wins. Zidane, I just think that when does the head coach thing work? Like, I don't get that. The guy that is there cannot just be a trainer, right? And I've seen a lot of Liverpool's Instagram stories posting, like, thank you, trainer, for everything you did. Like, that's like a Dutch concept as well, but I'm just not a fan of that. I just don't think it gets you like the big prizes. I think that guy that's running the team needs to have the say. And again, just from a youth point of view and like coaching some older teams here and there, and you're trying to build teams and you're going through seasons, like you have to have a say. You have to have a direction of where it's going in with the players that are coming in. Like you have to have a feel for that. Like Derek McInnes at Hearts. Like there's been the Jamestown stuff, but you can tell he sat down with Braga. He wanted Stuart Finlay. Like he's still involved in the process heavily, and I just think that you cannot be the absolute top team with being a head coach. So that's my thinking on that, and that's kind of what Slot was a little bit. He lost himself. He moaned a lot in the season about how the league was going and how the league went, and as I just said about Arsenal, yeah, it's frustrating. It's not really what anyone likes to see, but you've got to try and combat it your way. And I think he lost his way because all of a sudden you turn around and Joe Gomez is starting games and he's doing long throw-ins. And I'm just a bit like, where are we here? And he did really well to stop the rot, which I've said before. And then he never quite progresses out of that phase, and he never quite gets us back to kind of being on the front foot and kind of having a bit of trust and faith. He's kind of like playing it safe. And you can't play it safe. You've got to go there and you've got to take some risks. So all in all, what a job he did when he came in, and the greatest respect for it. He deserved that, and he's on the banner on the Kop, and he'll forever go down as a legend of Liverpool, and he'll forever give me one of the greatest days of my life. But it's the right call to part ways. Now, moving forwards, I think there's a lot of things that Liverpool need to have a think about, and I'm obviously quite worried about. I mean, we know that Robbo's gone, we know that Salah's gone, we know that Konate's now gone. The squad was thin as it is. Ekitike's pretty much out for the whole of next season. There's talks of Conor Bradley's pretty much the same with his injury. Isak, who knows? And Iraola looks like the man that's coming in. And I'm excited for Iraola to come in because I know the brand of football that he's going to play. And again, the thread of this conversation about football needing to be entertaining, and I was not entertained with Liverpool this season. This was the first time in a long time where I skipped some games. I did. I skipped some games because I wasn't entertained and I wanted to watch another game or something else, or to go do something with my girlfriend, or go do something with my mates, or whatever it is. Whereas, look, losing plays a part in that too, don't get me wrong, but I'm not like a fair weather fan. Watch Liverpool my whole life, but I wasn't excited to turn on the telly and watch them, and I know Iraola will bring that back. Now, there's obviously questions about, I've talked about that head coach thing. Like, do you need that kind of figurehead to come in and be that manager piece? I think, yeah, I want to see that. I don't know if Iraola has that like big personality, but I really worry that we're going to just be stuck in this, like, does he have the personality of Klopp? Oh, he plays the same style of Klopp. And I'm staring at Jurgen Klopp's scarf up on this side here that I've got up here in the shed, and I will never see a Liverpool manager that fits Liverpool more than he will in my lifetime. And if I do, great, I can't wait to see that. But I'm just never going to see it, and we're in danger of just that that sliding path of Man United and what you've seen happen after these absolute greats go, and everything is this. It's not him. It's not him. We have to try and move it forwards in a different way because they just don't come along. They're unicorns. They're magic, and they're once in a generation, if not more, types of people. These guys. And if Iraola comes in, he's not going to be that guy. But if his team can play with the personality on the pitch and he can entertain, and of course he can get results and push at the top end of the table, then it's going to be sound. My concern would be, like, Isak, you've spent all that money on. Is Isak going to be able to play that style of football with how his body is, and it breaks down, and it broke down at Newcastle? And like, I don't know that. Isak, I was buzzing with that. I thought it was a great signing. And number 9, I think it makes sense. But obviously then he gets injured. It's a shame. And part of that's probably the pre-season, everything and playing. But like, is he going to suit Iraola's style of football? I don't know. So then you've got that guy there. Will Florian Wirtz fit into it? Blah, blah, blah. So Iraola's going to have to basically do what he does, but also he's going to have to adapt. And I think that's one thing where Arne Slot did struggle, whereas he felt quite blunt with how he was doing things, and he felt quite, this is my way and these are my guys and I don't see you fitting in and this is why. And by all accounts, he definitely fell out with a lot of players in the dressing room. And you need to be able to adapt into the players that you have as well. Like your identity and your philosophy and your principles, whatever words you want to use, about Iraola, about, yeah, we run and we get the ball and we go forwards quickly. That's fine, but then, like, who have you got within that at your disposal? Who have you got there? Like, I don't think Frimpong got used well. Kerkez definitely didn't get used well under Arne Slot. Just the way that you're using the types of players, it's almost like the club have gone like, here's Frimpong, here's Kerkez, and Slot's gone, right, well, I'm still going to play how I want to play. And it's like, but mate, but they don't play that way. And that doesn't mean that you can't have your possession style, technical based football around it, right? You still can do that, but use their strengths as well. Do you think Jurgen Klopp knew he had Trent Alexander-Arnold when he came into the club? You know what I mean? Do you think he knew what he had under Andy Robertson, who he said he didn't like defensively when he first signed him, when he came into the club? Like, you use the strength of the guys that you've got as well, and you combine and you blend both of them. And that's what the best managers do, and that's what Iraola is going to have to do. But Liverpool have a hell of a job to do this summer. Hell of a job. There's a lot of places to do, and I just don't think you can address it in one summer window, and nor are you going to get every single signing right. And I still think there might be more people to go. So I'm concerned the squad's too thin. I'm concerned that, I'm just concerned about just the slide. And I'm not just talking about finishing this season. I'm just talking about being a bit reactive and being a bit constantly jumping around when things don't go well because you're trying to keep yourself at the top, which is a difficult thing to do. And again, that goes to show you how good Sir Alex Ferguson really was. I think, like, there's that famous saying all the time, right? Like, getting to the top's one thing, staying at the top's a lot harder. And him and Pep really have been the only two that have managed to, like, stay and win and come back again and kind of regenerate it. So it's a difficult one. I mean, I could go on forever about the whole Liverpool situation. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I kind of wanted to say. Oh yeah, final thing I wanted to say on it was this. And this is absolutely fine, by the way, and this is life. And family comes first over everything and is the most important. But I always felt with Slot and his family being in Holland, you're not fully in. Now, if I sat here and said that, he'd probably take offense to that, because he'd be like, fucking right I was. I was grafting day and night, mate, while my family are in Holland. And look, I'm not saying he wasn't. I just think that when you've got a toe out, you've got a toe or two out because your family are still there in Holland. And I get that decision, by the way. Family point of view, if your kids are in school there, they're happy, then you don't want to move them. That's absolutely fine, fair and well. But I just think, like, long term, to be at Liverpool and to have Liverpool be at the top and win everything, you've got to be all in. You have to be all in. You have to be in the city. You have to be immersed. Your family has to be there. And that's the nature of the beast, being at that level of sport, right? Like, that's kind of a sacrifice that the family sometimes make a lot of the time, is moving around with these players and these coaches and everything like that. And yeah, I always just thought, like, there's a toe out there, unfortunately. And I think that's not helped either. And, you know, by all accounts, that's maybe played into a little bit part with the days off and everything like that. But from the sound of things, the days off weren't too different last year. And when you're winning, everything's different. When you're losing, it's all of a big story. So, look, let me know what you guys all think about Arne Slot and the sacking. Was it fair? Did he deserve another chance in the summer? I mean, he is gone now, so there's not really point in kind of going on about that. And if it is Iraola, Liverpool fans, how do you feel about it? And neutral fans, what's your thoughts? And if it's not going to be Iraola, then who? Like, Enrique's one, or Liverpool maybe going to hold off, but by all accounts, Iraola's in. I'm cool with it. I'm down with it. I'm down to go for the ride. And I think that, final point, I know I keep saying that, if you look around the manager market, we've just finished a time period where the guys who you know that have delivered success are done and at their end. Pep, Klopp, Jose Mourinho's just gone to Real Madrid. Like, if you look around, there's not those obvious managerial choices there at the top of the game. There's not. And we're in a phase now of who's next. Fabregas, Alonso, Iraola, Hansi Flick obviously has been at Barca for a little while. Mikel Arteta at Arsenal, still new, right? Like, there's the new crop, Kompany at Bayern Munich. The new crop are coming through and they're all going to be risks, and we don't know who's going to turn out to be the guy or the guys. We don't know. And that's the phase we're in. And I'm excited to see it. So I think that ultimately when you look around at the managerial market, bar like Luis Enrique, Real Madrid have gone back with Jose Mourinho, like I said. Like, we're back in like 2008 or something. You have to take a risk on these new guys now. You have to take a risk, and you have to hope that it pays off. And are you going to ride with them through a couple of rocky times? Because at the end of the day, you're going to have bad times in football. That's just how it goes, bad moments. So that's kind of my last point on that. That's it. Probably a little bit of a longer video than planned, ramble. I'll split this into two as well as have the full video up for you guys. So here we are, a little bit of a break between now and the World Cup. Looking forward to that getting started. Hope everyone has a good start to the week. It's a bit dull, wet, rainy here in Scotland. Well, certainly in East Lothian it is anyway. And yeah, that's it. Hope you all have a good one. And until the next one, peace.